What's poppin', internet? Welcome to another episode of the Synced Up Filmcast, the show where we reel you into movie news and talk about the things that we've been watching. Should we just change that? Should we reel you into rankings? Because that's really all we do now.
Where we
don't really talk about movie news, like even slightly.
We can I was gonna say network this idea later, but there's a different word I'm looking for.
Yeah, workshop.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm one of your hosts, Timothy DeRoe, and joining me this week, of course, is your boy Michael Clare, who is currently eating a slice of fucking pizza on set. He decided, he was about to hit that record button, hit the intro, and he grabbed a slice.
I was hungry, my man. Please, no shame.
Fair enough. Today we're on our phones, so for you visual listeners, sorry for not having the papers. All we got is expensive card stock. We don't want to print on that.
We need to go to Walmart.
Yeah, we gotta go get some paper.
And you can't go to Walmart on Monday. Everybody knows that.
Exact. What? Okay, whatever. Today we're gonna talk about The Green Knight because we watched that.
We did.
We're also gonna rank The Black Cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna rank Great Mouse Detective.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna talk about a couple other things.
And
that's about
what if? I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll spoil it even.
Nah.
It's not fair, bro.
That
you
is
had
fair.
4 days.
That's fair. What do you mean?
Maybe 5, actually.
No.
5 days.
No. We about to.
I'm just saying, if I hadn't watched it, we'd be talking about it right now.
I would not spoil it for you.
Yeah, you would.
No, I would not.
Yeah, you would, big dog.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Why y'all slacking? This is Marvel cinema.
Psychonauts.
It's 26 minutes.
Look, dude.
No,
I
real
just didn't have the time.
That's fair. No, it's not. Child.
Let's talk about
Watch the
housekeeping.
show.
If you enjoy this show, if you enjoy us talking about bullshit and Mike eating pizza, you should consider supporting us on Patreon, where for $1 you can get access to the lovely Discord, where we talk about a lot of things like The Green Knight, which was only a couple of things that were said. We didn't really talk about that. I said The Green Knight was good, and you said maybe.
You said don't talk about it. Don't look up anything. Don't watch a video.
Yeah.
Save it all for podcast.
Yeah.
So I got some nonsense to discuss.
Okay, all right. Or for $5, you can get access to post shows of both the shows we do and many more goodies, all from youtube.com/synceduppodcast and podcasting services around the globe. New episodes of this show go up in all of those feeds Tuesdays, 7 a.m. Central Time Zone, gang. You can also write into this show at synceduppod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns, or to the reader mail submissions tab of the Discord, and we may read those on the show. You should also consider following us on Twitter. See, I did it right that time. At synceduppod with an E. Nope. Fuck.
With an E. Synced up pod with an E.
I know.
Where? Where's the E?
No, I was gonna say with any questions, comments, concerns, but it's to keep up to date with all of our content from across the board. But I was thinking about, I got that shit, and then I went in and immediately stumbled.
You did it better with no paper though.
Yeah, I know. With the flub yesterday, all the flubs yesterday, dude.
There was a lot of flubs.
A ton. A lot better today, but still a little too much. Hold on, I gotta unlock my phone. Okay, let's get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start the rankings. Today we're gonna be ranking the Black Cauldron and the Great Mouse Detective. Let's start her off with the plot, which I have not brought up, and I'm having to bring up as I'm vamping and talking.
For what, the Black Cauldron?
The Black
I can tell you.
Cauldron. On Disney, go to the I'm going to the Wikipedia.
I'm sorry,
boom, Wikipedia.
He didn't pull that up ahead of time. I didn't pull that up ahead of time.
And here and bam. All right.
I'm still on this pizza.
All right, here we go. Plot synopsis for the Black Cauldron from Wikipedia. en.m.wikipedia.org. Okay.
Sounds sketchy.
Cool. Do we do this for whatchamacallit, the movie's about to come out? Encanto? I think we got to skip the plot synopsis part.
Yeah.
Or we hold the rank till the end.
Yeah. Or you get 1 minute to explain the plot.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like exactly 1 minute? Okay,
exactly,
we do something like that. Anyway, in the land of Pyridane, I don't know, Tehran, a teenage boy and assistant pig keeper on the small farm of Caer Dallben, home of Dallben the Enchanter, dreams of becoming a famous warrior. Dallben learns the evil Horned King is searching for a mystical relic known as the Black Cauldron, which can create an invincible army of the undead warriors. The Cauldron-born Dallben fears the Horned King might use his pig, Hinwin, who has oracular powers to locate that's of Oracle. You know, you're like an Oracle?
Mm-hmm.
To locate the cauldron. Dallben directs Taran to take Hinwin to safety. Unfortunately, Taran's foolish daydreaming causes Hinwin to be captured by Gwithaints, the Horned King's dragon-like creatures. Taran follows them to the Horned King's castle and meets the pestering dog-like creature Gurgi, who a dog-like? I don't know, man.
He kind of looks like a dog.
I guess.
You called him a what? A goblin?
No. I just said his name was Gurgi. I think he looks like, or I think he sounds like Schmeagol.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I don't know. He is kind of dog-like, like a sheepdog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He looked, I don't know, whatever.
Weird
Gurgi,
dude.
who wants to be his friend. Frustrated by Gurgi's antics and cowardice, Taryn leaves him. Taryn sneaks into the castle and helps Hinwin escape, but is captured and thrown into a dungeon. Another captive named Princess Elanwi frees him as she tries to escape. In the catacombs underneath the castle, Taryn and Elanwi discover the ancient burial chamber of a king. Taran arms himself with the king's sword, which contains magic that allows him to effectively fight the Horn King's minions, thus fulfilling his dream. Along with the third prisoner, the comical middle-aged bard Fluter Flam, they escape from the castle and are found by Gurgi. Upon learning that Taran has escaped, the Horn King orders his goblin and chief henchman, Creeper, to send the Gwithaints to follow, and why is everything named so fucking weird? Taran along with his friends. Following Hinwin's trail, the four companions stumble into the underground kingdom of the fair folk who have Hinwin under their protection. When the kindly King reveals the cauldron's location, Taran decides to destroy it. Elanwi, Gurgi, and Fluter agree to join him, and E's obnoxious right-hand man Dolly is assigned to lead them to the marshes of Morva, where the fair folk escort Hinwin back to Caer Dallben. At Morva, they learn the cauldron is held by three witches, the crafty leader Ordu, the greedy Orgok, and the more benevolent Orwin, who falls in love with Fluter at first sight. Ordu agrees to trade the cauldron for Taran's sword, and he reluctantly agrees, knowing it will cost his chance for heroism. Before vanishing, the witches reveal the cauldron is indestructible, and its power can only be broken when someone willingly climbs into it, which will kill them. Dolly angrily abandons the group. Although Taran feels foolish for trading his sword for nothing, his companions show their belief in him, and Elanwi and Taran almost kiss as Fluter and Gurgi happily watch, until Gurgi spoils the moment after giving Fluter a kiss on the cheek. Suddenly, they are found by the Horn King's minions who had followed them. Gurgi runs away before they take the cauldron and the three companions back to the castle. The Horn King uses the cauldron to raise the dead, and his cauldron-born army begin to pour into the world while holding the trio of prisoners in view of the cauldron. Gurgi, deciding not to abandon his friends this time, sneaks into the castle and rescues them. Taran decides to jump into the cauldron to save everyone, but Gurgi stops him and jumps in instead, killing the cauldron-born as well as himself, sacrificing his own life in the process. When the Horn King spots Taran, he blames him, saying Taran has interfered for the last time, and throws the youth toward the cauldron, but the cauldron is out of control and consumes the Horn King in a tunnel of fire, killing him and destroying the castle, using up all its powers forever as the companions escape. Okay, alright, whatever. The three witches come to recover the now inert Black Cauldron. However, Taran has finally realized Gurgi's true friendship while hailing him as a hero, and asks him to revive his friend in exchange for the cauldron, choosing to give up his magical sword permanently. Upon hearing Fluter's challenging remarks to demonstrate their powers, the reluctant witches honor his request, returning Gurgi to them. At first, Gurgi appears to be dead, but is resurrected, much to everyone's joy. After they reunite, he pushes Taran and Elanwi into a kiss, which is fucking weird. The four friends then journey back home to Caer Dallben, where Dallben and Dolly watch them in a vision created by Hinwin, and Dallben finally praises Taran for his heroism, which insinuates that Dallben worked together with the fairy dudes the whole time, because there was like a little conversation at the end where he's like, haha, yeah. And they were like, oh, this was all how it's supposed to be.
He
So
saw
it's
the
like-
whole thing play out or whatever.
Which is like fucking weird.
Uh-huh.
Now let's talk about this review from the Black Cauldron from 1985 before we start getting into our own personal thoughts.
This is
1985 from the Times.
36 years ago.
This is the 25th full-length animated feature from Walt Disney Studios, and professionally put together as it is, many of the ingredients may seem programmed to those who have seen some of the others. The spooky precincts of villains are, as usual, more fun than the wholesome environs. With the help of sound equipment, John Hurt brings a cavernous voice to the role of the king. He has the best lines. He inquires of the captured Taran, "You are the keeper of this oracular pig?" Taran does everything expected of a Disney hero. He is foolish and daring and extremely lucky, and becomes a better person for his adventures. Oh, the princess tells him, only too accurately, "You're so boring." But then she isn't exactly a ball of fire. Like these characters, the magic appurtenances?
I assume that's items.
Yeah, wow. The flashing sword that demolishes bad guys, the dancing bauble that shows the way to good guys, the lyre that breaks a string at the sound of a lie, seem familiar and overworked. But maybe the problem is in the eye of the beholder. The producers report that The Black Cauldron is the first animated motion picture to be shot in 70mm since Sleeping Beauty in 1959. People old enough to recall their delight at earlier feature animations, no doubt burnished by memory, are not, of course, the audience at which The Black Cauldron is aimed. Nor, apparently, is it aimed at youngsters who have had a taste of more sophisticated animation of the Star Wars breed of movies. Quite possibly, the little kid for whom the people at Disney work will find the sort of magic in The Black Cauldron that their parents found in Sleeping Beauty, and can it be so long ago that their grandparents found in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? You so aptly said when typing this, we are zooming through these films because we are now in 1986.
Because what we watched a couple months ago has been over 40 years past. So
It's been a good long while.
we've traveled through the years.
So let's talk about our personal thoughts of The Black Cauldron.
I don't know. I agree with
So boring.
home slice here on when he speaks on the Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
It just feels so average.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's average. There's
Like,
a lot of stuff about this movie.
Are mid.
Let's point out a couple things here. I think the world building in this film, compared to most other Disney films, absolutely atrociously bad. So much is misunderstood. Yeah. And look, you can do weird unconventional means of world building, a la Miyazaki and Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. You have these weird films that have weird aspects to them and weird ways that the people in it exist, yet it feels correct in those films. In this film, it does not. It feels out of place.
I use the word a lot. It's charm.
Yeah.
There was no charm to these worlds. Like,
yes.
oh, we're going to go to Morville. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What's Morville?
Let's
it's just a witch's hut.
Exactly. Let's name everything weird. Let's make all the environments look drab and bad. Let's make the color palette brown, gray, black.
And then like you get to the fairies underwater and you're like, oh, these creatures are kind of cool. I wonder what their world looks like.
Yeah,
you don't see
get it.
nothing.
And you get about a minute and a half of them, and that's about it. And so you don't get no color. You don't get no character. The characters that are there don't feel that great. The hero of the film, which is, I can't even remember, Taran, feels like a complete oaf. Like he doesn't belong. And you have those type of characters in Disney films already, just like people who stumble into success. I mean, you have films that do that in a good way. Think of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Good movie. The hero, complete fucking idiot that just stumbles his way into a victory. Yeah. You can do that in a good way. And here it does not feel earned. It does not feel deserved. He feels like a blubbering idiot the whole time.
Well, like usually in those movies too, they have a moment where like they've overcome their thing.
Yeah, this guy doesn't. I guess his moment is he's given up his sword. He's given up his shitty greed of wanting to be a hero over everything else. I don't know. It's a little weird. The Horn King revives his undead army, and you're like, okay, let's do some shit. They die 40 seconds later.
Yeah, they do nothing.
They die 40 seconds later. It's super quick.
I don't think the guy actually swings his sword at anybody.
Yeah. And then they have like a moment of like where they just kind of just write some shit off, where they're like, okay, the Black Cauldron doesn't suck in everybody. We're just going to suck in the Horn King. Okay, we're just going to skip that it doesn't suck anyone else in. And then it's going to completely suck up all the power and get rid of it forever because it sucked in this specific guy. Why? I don't know. What's the motivations for the Horn King? Nobody knows. Where did he come from? What's any backstory for the Horn King at all? You know nothing. He's just an ass. And that's completely it. And you get a couple of shots of him. And then looking at him, it's like, is he undead? I don't know.
Yeah, he seems undead himself.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Do you get backstory on the girl? No. You just know that she's a girl that got took.
Yeah.
Like, the kid's a pig keeper, but that's it. You don't get there's no
Why
nothing.
Is the pig an oracle?
Yeah, nothing. You get no sort of information. And even in other Disney films where you don't get like a ton of information, that's easier to write off in films like Aristocats, The 101 Dalmatians. Those are from the perspective of like animals and
Sword
stuff.
in the Stone.
Sword in the Stone.
I don't need a huge backstory on Merlin because I already know
and who
he is.
Yeah, and he's a wizard. And that's his whole shtick. But like you look at films like, I guess, even like Sleeping Beauty, I feel like there's like a decent amount of more world building in that where they explain this is happening, this is why this is happening, this lady's pissed because of this, or just anything like that where you just completely understand. Like, okay. And I feel like Maleficent, that's Sleeping Beauty, right? Is that Maleficent? Yeah, she had more backstory and more character than this guy. And that was 40-something years ago.
Well, because Maleficent even had relation to the characters at the beginning of the movie. The Horn King has no...
Yeah, he's just the Horn King.
No connection to our heroes. And our hero just accidentally gets involved.
And you don't see the rest of the world, like you were saying. You're going to go to this town. It's just a witch's hut.
You see the witch's hut, the forest, the king's castle, and the home at the beginning or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't get no
and it's
other stuff. Is the killing
world.
and the burning still going on up there? The answer to me would be no, because nobody's fucking killing or burning anything. Because all we see is this castle and stuff. So, as you can tell, we're not very high on this movie. I don't know if you have any differences here. I thought that the animation in this was quite good, especially like jumping up.
We took a step up.
Like they say, using the 70mm, it felt archaic, but it also felt new and like fresh. So it looked really good. Doesn't look as good as the movie that we watched after it, but it still looks good, especially the movies coming previously before this. So that's all I really can say good about the film.
Are you ready to rank this one?
Yeah, go ahead and bring up the rankings, Jordan. This is the Black Cauldron. Do what?
Go for it. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I personally would like to place the Black Cauldron at number 14.
14?
Yes, I don't think it's as good as Bambi. I think it's better than Snow White, Dumbo, Peter Pan. I don't think it's as good as any of the ones above that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I put it above Alice.
You put it above Alice, so you put it at number 11.
Yes.
Is there a middle of that? Is that 12? No. Is that 13? No. So I guess it's up to Jordan whether it goes to 12 or 13. But regardless, low on the list. Newer film. A lot of this movie ranking stuff, I was kind of worried that as we watch newer and newer movies,
they would just all go to the top.
It was just all going to be in like the top five over and over again. But this is kind of solidified where that's going to be broken all the time. So, yeah. And Jordan, you also watched the film. Would you rather it be at number 13 or... No, you put it above Alice, so... Well, that's just number 11.
Yeah, right. in my thing, it's at 11.
You have it at 11, and I want it at 14. So, do you want it at 12 or 13, Jordan? 13 placement.
That's fair.
So, not better than much. I probably would say only better than those films because it has 30 years on those films.
Yeah, that's what... It's because I want to place it higher simply because it's just better animated, in my opinion.
It's hard to do.
But that doesn't carry the movie enough to make it that much better than a lot of these ones. Like, it's just flat out not better than Sword in the Stone at all. So it'd never go above that point.
Yeah, I think Sleeping Beauty, iconic story, good songs. Was there even any songs?
In Sleeping Beauty?
No, in Black Cauldron.
Oh, no.
Was there not a single one? Well, if there was, this is a good shot that they're not memorable and not good at all. Yeah. Alice in Wonderland, so much charm. Pinocchio, I mean, come on. Like all the rest of these films, like I could say are better.
I think that's a fair place to put it.
Yeah, I had it a Bambi above it simply because I love Bambi so much, but still very, very, very low on the list. Currently rocking at number 13. But now let's go into the next film that we watched, which was The Great Mouse Detective.
GMD.
Great Mouse. Great Mouse Detective. Wikipedia. Let's go to the plot.
And for clarification, we hadn't seen Black Cauldron before.
No.
And I hadn't seen The Great Mouse Detective before either.
Yeah, I hadn't seen either of these films.
And maybe I saw The Great Mouse Detective like once when I was like 3 years old or something. Because like the characters seemed familiar.
Yeah, I recognize some of them.
But I don't know if it's just because it's Disney characters or because I actually had seen the film before.
Yeah. And Disney likes to reduce, reuse, recycle, so they might pop up later.
Especially with the animals, bro.
Yeah, especially with the animals. So let's start her off. In London in June 1897, a young mouse named Olivia Flaversham is celebrating her birthday with her widowed toy maker father, Hiram. Suddenly, a bat with a crippled wing and a peg leg bursts into Flaversham's workshop, kidnapping Mr. Flaversham. Olivia searches to find the famed great mouse detective named Basil of Baker Street, but gets lost. A surgeon named Dr. David Q. Dawson, who has just returned from a lengthy service of the Mouse Queen's 66th Regiment in Afghanistan, meets Olivia and escorts her to Basil's residence. Upon their arrival, Basil is initially indifferent, but when Olivia mentions the bat that abducted her father, Basil realizes that Olivia saw Fidget, the assistant of Professor Ratigan, a villain that Basil has attempted to arrest for years. It is then revealed that Ratigan kidnapped Hiram to create a clockwork robot which mimics the queen of the mice so that Ratigan can rule England. Flaversham initially refuses to participate in the scheme, but capitulates when Ratigan threatens to harm Olivia. Ratigan plans to usurp the queen and become supreme ruler of all Mousedom. Meanwhile, Fidget appears through the window and they attempt to chase him. Basil, along with Dawson and Olivia, take Toby, Sherlock Holmes' pet basset hound, to track down Fidget's scent. So the reason you heard Holmes is because were they just in the house of Sherlock Holmes? Is that what it was? Because I was kind of turned around at this point. Because they say
they say he's on Baker Street.
Yeah,
which I was pretty sure that was the same place.
So they take Toby, which is Sherlock Holmes' dog.
Maybe.
Well, that's what it says.
Yeah.
So that's probably why, because you were like, oh, his name's also Holmes. But did you just hear Holmes because they were in the house of Holmes and like that was an adult talking to an adult?
I'm doing some research.
Okay. Meanwhile, Fidget appears through the window and they attempt to chase him. Basil, along with Dawson and Olivia, take Toby, Sherlock Holmes' pet basset hound, to track down Fidget's scent, where they locate him in a toy shop stealing clockwork mechanisms and toy soldier uniforms. Fidget ambushes Olivia and captures her. Basil and Dawson pursue Fidget but are easily outsmarted. While searching the shop, Dawson discovers Fidget's checklist, to which Basil does some chemical tests to discover the list came from a riverfront near the Thames.
You want some trivia? Some interesting trivia? I'm just assuming his name's Basil at this point. The original actor for Sherlock Holmes, his name was Basil Rathbone.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. That's
Fun-
the one.
fun
That's probably
fact.
where the name comes
Yeah, there you go. Basil and Dawson disguise themselves as sailors and head to a tavern called the Rat Trap. They find Fidget and follow him to Radigan's headquarters, but are caught in an ambush by Radigan. Radigan has them tied to a spring-loaded mousetrap connected with a Rube Goldberg machine laid out to kill them both. Radigan sets out for Buckingham Palace, where his henchmen hijack the royal guard's rolls and kidnap the queen. Basil deduces the trap's weakness and escapes along with Dawson and Olivia just in time. At Buckingham Palace, Radigan forces Flaversham to operate the toy queen, while the real one is taken to be fed to Felicia, Radigan's pet cat. The toy queen declares Radigan the ruler of all mousedom, and he announces his dictatorial plans for his new subjects. After Basil, Dawson, and Olivia save Flaversham and the real queen, they restrain Fidget and Radigan's other henchmen, while Toby chases Felicia, leading to Felicia. While Toby chases Felicia, leading to Felicia thinking she escaped Toby by jumping onto a high stone fence to be mauled by the royal guard dogs waiting on the other side. Sorry, run-on sentences. Basil seizes control of the mechanical queen, making it denounce Radigan as a fraud while breaking it into pieces. The crowd, enraged by Radigan's treason, turns on him and he escapes on his dirigible. Hold up. I'm opening this in a new tab. Hold up. A dirigible. It's an airship. Dirigible balloon.
Dirigible.
Crazy. Okay.
You're learning a lot of new stuff today.
With Fidget holding Olivia hostage, Basil, Dawson, and Flaversham create their own craft with a matchbox and some small helium-filled balloons held together by the Union Jack. Radigan tosses Fidget overboard to lighten the load, and he attempts to drive the dirigible himself. Basil jumps onto the dirigible to confront Radigan, causing it to crash straight into the Big Ben clock tower. Inside the clock tower, where Radigan still holds Olivia hostage, Basil manages to get Radigan's cape stuck on some gears. He rescues Olivia and safely delivers her to Flaversham. Radigan breaks free and attacks Basil, eventually knocking him to the dirigible. What a funny word. When the clock strikes 10, the bell... That's funny. Is that the mouse ran up the clock? Does it strike 10 or is that strike 12?
Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock.
Well, I can open clock strikes 10 in a new tab. No, that just opens it. Never mind.
Just opened up clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock.
Hold
The clock struck.
Hickory dickory dock. Okay, looking it up. Hickory dickory dock lyrics. The clock struck 1.
But does it go on forever? Does it say 2, 3?
2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it.
Not even 10, bro.
Damn, I was hoping for. Oh, sorry, I closed the tab. I was hoping for like some seriously like good, like oh shit,
Like, oh,
like
wow.
detail.
Nice.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Anyway, get back to where I was. When the clock strikes 10, the bell hits the loudest sound, causing Radigan to fall to his death, taking Basil with him. However, Basil grabs a part of Radigan's dirigible and saves himself. Back at Baker Street, Basil and Dawson recount their adventures. After the Flavershams leave the house, a distraught new client arrives and solicits Basil and Dawson's help, with Basil noting that Dawson is his trusted associate, prompting Dawson to remain and assist Basil. And then they become.
I would like to say there is
Sherlock Holmes.
more murder in that movie than in the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, there's a lot of killing.
And attempted killing.
Yeah, like having the cat eat people.
Died.
Yeah, the dude literally dies at the end. Now let's talk about a
Let's think
review
about it.
from 1986, from the Times.
1 year later.
Mm-hmm. 1 year. Usually there's more.
Yeah, usually it's like 4, 3 years, 5 years.
Yeah. Many of the new crop of children's animated movies are so saturated with powdered sugar that one suspects just watching them will produce cavities. What a treat it is to see an animated feature that doesn't moralize or patronize young children or drown them in bathos. With The Great Mouse Detective, which opens today at the new Embassy 49th Street and other theaters, the Disney people have gone back to the basics that have delighted children and their parents for half a century. In The Black Cauldron, the Disney animators tried to combine their winning formula with some of the new fast-paced cinematic devices children have become used to from adventure movies such as Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was a technique that worked only to a limited degree. But in The Great Mouse Detective, the Disney formula is used undiluted, and that is how it works best. The heroes are appealing, the villains have that special Disney flair, humorous backguards who really enjoy being evil, and the script is witty and not overly sentimental. Basil is a delightfully cool character. He doesn't even especially like children. When he says farewell to the little girl he has rescued, he says with a flourish of British understatement, not a bad child, actually. Unlike many modern cartoons, this story does not take place in a never-never-land, but in a real place at a specific time. It makes reference to historical figures like Napoleon and literally ones like Sherlock Holmes, giving much appreciated intellectual grounding. Instead of cheap magic tricks to solve all problems, Basil wins in the end by the force of his intelligence. Quote, "Is there a chance to get her back?" End quote, Dawson asks, disconsolate after the little mouse has been kidnapped by the bat. Quote, "There is always a chance, Doctor," says our hero, "as long as I can think." Small children may be afraid of some of the bad characters. The Disney Studios' gift for creating really nasty bad guys means that they are scary, but they will love the cute, brave mice and cheer their triumphs. Adults will enjoy the wit and style. This adult really appreciated Basil's straightforward approach. "No one can have a higher opinion of you than I do," he says to Ratigan, the king of crime, "and I think you are a slimy, despicable sewer rat." And that's telling him. So they really liked the film.
They did.
They enjoyed the film quite a lot.
Once again, I agree with our boys over here at New York Times.
Yeah.
45 years later. This movie was just good fun.
Yeah,
I liked
good
it for
fun.
the same reasons I liked The Rescuers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cool adventure.
Yeah.
Good characters, good cast.
Yeah.
I like it.
You like the film? I enjoyed the film as well. They did some really cool stuff with the animation there in the clock tower fight. You've seen some really cool transitions into 3D.
Yeah.
It was like
There's
the first
some
time.
slight 3D animation.
Not the first time they've done it, but the first time they've done it well. We've seen it in other films, like in Robin Hood. Some of the 3D chase scenes, like there towards the end of the Battle of the Circus of Robin Hood, when the one girl is running away. You know what I'm talking about? When she's like bonking the rhinos on the head.
Yep.
There's like some weird 3D like contra from the back looking like things. But in this one, it's like, oh, okay.
It's there and it's not really offensive.
Yeah, we're experimenting with some 3D shit.
And when they're actually like running up the clock and there's kind of some flashes back and forth, it looked really good.
Yeah,
it was some of the better animated stuff we'd seen.
Really, really cool. Looked real smooth, a lot more polished, less fuzzy.
Good animation, good score, good.
And we're almost starting to get. I mean, when do we get into some 3D animation?
Not for a minute, bro.
Lilo and Stitch. Is that still 2D?
It's 2D. Treasure Planet's got some 3D, I think.
I think it's Treasure Planet because then we starting getting Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons, Bolt and stuff.
I want to say Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet's like a mix. There's a lot. There's like it's 2D and there's like major 3D moments.
Anyway,
I think I remember.
I personally put this film at number 8.
8?
Yep.
That's offensive.
I don't think it's as good as Lady and the Tramp, Cinderella, 101 Dalmatians, Fox Now, Rescuers, Cats, Robin Hood. But I do think it's better than all the other films. That was just my personal.
That is so whack,
That was just my takeaway.
bro.
That was just my takeaway.
Damn. I want to put it. I shouldn't do it. I want to put it higher just so it's not as low as you have it. Like I want to put it at
don't game the system.
I want to put it at number 1 just so it ends up where I actually want it.
No,
I have it at 4.
You can't game the system.
I have it at 4 below Rescuers, Robin Hood, and Aristocats, which is that's my top 3 in a different order than the top 3 we have it here. But I think it's comfortably number 4.
Yeah. Well, we can put it at number 5 because what's in between? 6 is in between, and then I also missed the beginning of the movie. I was a little out of it playing Magic, so you've seen more of the film than me.
Yeah.
So we can
It
slot
was
it
good.
at.
I liked it a
Put
lot.
it more on your side of the ranking there.
I don't think it's. See. I like the Rescuers more. That's why I don't put it above it because I think the Rescuers is a much more like interesting concept. This is just what if Sherlock Holmes was a mouse?
Yeah.
Which isn't as cool as UN.
Yeah. And the United Nations mouse.
Yeah, I think that's way more interesting.
Yeah.
But I still like this one a lot, and I
Yeah.
think 4 is the place for it. Jordan says 3.
Yeah. Just slot it at 5.
5?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I put it down at 8,
Man,
but I also
Fox
was
in the
out of it at
Hound
the
screwing
beginning.
me again. Yeah. It should definitely beat all the ones it has beaten. The fact that you think it's worse than Cinderella is criminal.
Yeah.
Like I love dogs
I don't
well,
know.
so maybe I see that. But Cinderella, bro,
Yeah.
you sure I can't convince you 4?
No, it's good. It's good, bro. Fox and the Hound's chilling in a solid spot.
The Mouse Detective is a good movie, dude.
It was a good movie.
Ratigan might be. He might
was
have
a really
been
good-
one of the best villains.
Really, really good villain. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Give you that.
Honestly, probably is the best villain.
Scar's classic. So
Stars. Yeah, he's a good villain.
now, this next
Good
week.
song. We're getting into the bangers.
I was actually wrong. It's actually Oliver and Company, not the Rescuers Down Under.
Rescuers Down Under is after.
Yeah. So we have the
Oliver
19
and Company I remember as well.
The intro running.
Boom, boom.
So, yeah, 19. I've never seen this one either. Oliver and Company is the 19th movie, followed by the
remember that being
first
good.
of the classical era, is what I'd like to call it. The Renaissance.
The Golden Age.
Renaissance. The Golden Age.
It is the Golden Age.
The
I
Little
believe.
Mermaid at number 20. and then we get Rescuers Down Under. Then we start hitting the true golden age. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, Mulan, Tarzan. Come on, baby.
Just banger after
Come on,
banger.
baby. That's gonna be a good few weeks.
It's everything afterwards is good. There's not a bad week after that, is there?
Not really. No.
Like I'm not.
Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis.
Is Home on the Range and Chicken Little in the same week?
No, it's possible that Brother Bear and Home on the Range is a bad week.
No, Brother Bear's
but
good.
I've never seen those.
You've never. Oh
No, I've never seen those. Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons. Meet the Robinsons is so good that even Chicken Little pulling it
And
down.
then every other week after is good.
Bolt and Princess and the Frog is kind of mid, in my
I don't
opinion.
know. I thought Princess and the Frog's pretty good.
I mean, it's good, but Bolt I don't think is that good. But then again, I haven't seen it in years. Tangled Wreck-It Ralph or Tangled Winnie the Pooh. I mean, every single one of these weeks has at least one movie in it that's like,
Yeah.
Tangled's gonna be classic, bro. I mean, we're starting to, but
Was this the last week without a number one competitor each week?
yeah,
I think that's the real premise we're getting to.
yeah, definitely. There's gonna be
Because
another
I
one.
think Little Mermaid's gonna be up there.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty damn high. But there you have it. Oh, go back to the ranking so I can read it for the peeps.
For the ones with audio.
Yep. For 18
Audio
films,
only.
we'll start at the bottom. Snow White, Dumbo, Peter Pan, Bambi, The Black Cauldron, Sleeping Beauty, Alice in Wonderland, Pinocchio, top 10, Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp, Cinderella, 101 Dalmatians, top 5, The Great Mouse Detective, The Fox and the Hound, The Rescuers, Aristocats, and Robin Hood. That is the list as follows, followed by number 19, Oliver and Company, which we will watch this week, and number 20, The Little Mermaid, which we will also watch this week, and then we'll begin creeping up on that halfway mark. Creeping up on it.
Getting pretty close.
Yeah,
I
honestly
can't believe The Little Mermaid is before the halfway mark.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. Starting this, I was like, yeah, we can do it, but then like looking at the big list, I was like, that's a lot of movies.
I don't know.
I frankly didn't know if
Pretty
we'd be able to do the whole thing.
It's gonna get harder later on, I feel like.
I don't think
because
so.
Well, they're longer movies.
They are longer movies.
You're asking
That's true.
for almost twice the commitment. For
Yeah.
some of these. Well, maybe they don't hit more than 2 hours, but
Yeah.
maybe
a little longer.
An extra hour.
Yeah, and
So.
it depends on the movies coming out that week, or maybe if the game's coming out that week or a little spicy, we might drop down to one movie that week. But just really just depends on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's no real news this week. Nothing really going on.
There
if you're in Poland, you
is-
can play any mobile games on your Netflix app.
There is Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista are doing a buddy cop film.
That's cool.
Yep.
And
I told
then-
you something.
Yeah. Now it's time to talk about the things that we've been watching.
What you been watching?
So, of course, I've been watching Sharp Objects after the recommendation by Lucas. Been watching that with Adriana. Going to try to watch an episode tonight. It's a really
Snooze.
good... What?
I know nothing about it.
It's good. It's good. It's murder mystery. Amy Adams. Sign me up.
Is it like?
It's weird.
Is it movie TV?
Huh?
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
I
you.
know what you're saying. It's really good. It's really weird. It's
Weird.
shit.
It like.
I'll say one thing about the movie that's not really a spoiler that'll give you an idea of how weird it is. Amy Adams, the investigative journalist that's
Mhm.
trying to solve the mystery, all over her body has cut words into herself. That's all. I'll
And you
give
don't know why?
you.
Well, is that just like something that's thrown at you and you just?
Yeah, no, it's
don't
there,
get-
and you get some backstory. Seems like the words are cut into her during specific events that are tied to said words, but she has them cut in all over her body. That's the only thing I'll give you. That's weird.
That makes me want to not watch it.
No, that's not a part of the. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's
I
good.
don't know,
It's a good film.
It's too
Or good,
weird.
good movie.
Pretty weird, man.
Go ahead and talk about the other things you've been watching before we get into the Green Knight.
Yeah, let me look at my list here. Somebody didn't watch their episode of What If this week.
Nope.
Oh, that's my
Nope.
notes.
Forgot. I didn't
Can't
forget.
believe you didn't watch What If.
Didn't get your
This
time.
was a good episode again.
What if Fury? What if something happened to the world's mightiest heroes?
Yeah. What if something happened to the Avengers?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Before
Battle in New York.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
and a lot of stuff changes.
Oh shit.
This one straight up goes off course immediately.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like, cause the thing happens and you're like, well, what the hell's the rest of the show?
Yeah.
And then it's actually like a mystery of like what's happened, who, why,
Yeah.
who and why,
Okay.
and then
I'm
and then
excited.
what,
Mm-hmm.
and then where.
All right. Fair. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm excited.
I think it's a good episode. Do you know what this week's episode is supposed to be?
Nah, I have no idea. I don't really look ahead. The only
I know,
reason
but like,
knew,
what else was in the trailer that we haven't seen so far? Zombie Avengers?
Were the Guardians at the Battle of New York in this one?
No, that wasn't.
Okay, so
Nothing.
we've seen something about the Guardians of the Battle of New York. We've
Okay.
seen something about zombies, and that's it in terms of stuff we haven't
Hmm.
seen yet.
I feel like there's gotta be more.
There probably is.
Wasn't there a Strange one?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I thought that was the Doctor Strange episode. Maybe not. I don't know. This one's good. It takes a different turn. than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
That's nice.
Caught up on iCarly. Have you stopped watching it?
We got a couple episodes.
Okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Is it done
You actually
now?
get some. No, they're like 13. What are they doing? Like 16 probably.
They're doing 13.
Oh, there was only 13.
Mm-hmm.
Did we watch 13?
That when they announced it, it was 13 episodes.
Did we watch
unless I'm
13?
grossly mistaken.
Who does 13 episodes?
I don't know. Well, they dropped 3 on the first week. Jordan, we check. What the reboot of iCarly? How many episodes is supposed to be? I'm 90% sure it was supposed to be 13.
Well, we did miss the last 5 minutes of the last episode, so maybe they rounded off the season there. But I guess there's a Hannah Montana moment.
Hannah Montana.
Where she has to choose a man,
mm-hmm.
and there's 2 men.
Yeah.
You remember when they do that in Hannah Montana? How many? There. 13.
13.
Okay, well,
so that was the last episode.
The whole episode was inspired by Fire Episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last episode is completely inspired by Fire Episode.
I can't wait to get to it. That's nice.
You get some crazy stuff starting to happen in that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of Psychonauts and Yakuza and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to talk about The Green Knight, which we just got finished watching. We're reeling off the ending of The Green Knight.
I'm going to go watch a
You missed the end credits
video.
scene.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
How did I miss it?
It was at the very, very end of the credits.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
How come you didn't say anything until now?
The room was closed.
How come you didn't say anything when I walked out?
Well, it wasn't much of a scene. All it is a little girl crawls up to the crown,
Mm-hmm.
picks it up, puts it on. God black. That's it.
It's Joan of Arc.
They're not in France.
You thought about it for a second. You're like,
they're not in France.
Is that? Huh?
Okay, The Green Knight. Let's talk about the things coming out this week before we get into super spoilers. Shang-Chi and a live-action Cinderella, which I've heard nothing about. Can't wait to watch Shang-Chi. It's going to be good.
Another live-action. So does Cinderella just enter public domain or something?
Probably.
Yes. Kylie confirms with a yes.
Yeah. Cinderella story, another Cinderella
when
story.
Pinocchio entered
Yeah.
public domain. There was 3 Pinocchio movies that same year. Didn't watch
Disney tries to hold on to it, but they're only able to renew it a couple of times before that shit. Because it's supposed to be 30 years, but Disney
30 years? No, it's I thought it was 80.
Nah, 30.
That
30 years.
The 50-year Disney Armstrong.
Yeah, 30-year till Creative Commons, if I remember correctly. It's why they had to wait on Narnia, I think, or something. There was some weird shit.
I'm looking at
Constantine?
I'm looking at who was king after King Arthur.
Constantine. I thought King Arthur was a fully fictional person. Am I stupid? I've just spent my entire life thinking
Constantine
that King Arthur
was the successor to King Arthur as King of Britain.
But there's no King Arthur of Camelot.
Camelot's not real.
Yeah, so yeah. So the King Arthur in all the stories is not a real person.
Are we just airing out how stupid we are? Is Camelot a real place?
Okay. So Knights of the Round Table aren't real. Camelot's not real. So there is a King Arthur, but
so
he's not
I'm
King
gonna
Arthur.
Google it. Is King Arthur real? And we'll see what comes up.
Well, it's gonna say yeah, because there's.
But are the stories of King Arthur related to some
King
random
Arthur.
King Arthur?
Yeah, they cannot confirm King Arthur.
Because that was in the 6th century. So Constantine took over after King Arthur in the 12th century.
Yeah.
So that was a random King Arthur.
So that was a King Arthur that maybe named himself after King Arthur.
Because he was like, I want to be badass.
Yeah, from Camelot or whatever, or something.
Well, we're learning.
Constantine, that was the Crusades guy, right?
Well, he took Turkey.
Yeah.
Got Constantinople.
Yeah, didn't he do the Crusades though?
I don't think he did the Crusades. Who did the Crusades? Who did
this is post-show talk.
Crusades? No. We'll do... maybe. Context, Major Rant. Who led it? It's, directed by the Latin Church. Yeah, because you got they went to Central America. Remember?
Bro, I don't fucking know.
And all that was Crusade stuff.
Dude, I don't know shit.
The
Anyway,
Holy Land.
let's talk about the Green Knight. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, dude. Cinematically, dark, very dark. I couldn't see.
Hard to see.
But when I could see, very pretty.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be so dark though?
I don't know. There's a lot of dark elements of this film. I think that probably plays into the metaphor if you really think about it. So let's get in full.
You want to talk about metaphors?
Sure.
I hate that movie because I feel like every single
yes, obviously.
thing was meant to be like
The entire film's based on a
connected to
poem.
something else. Was I supposed to read the poem before?
No, I don't know. But I just read that somewhere.
Well, it says it's based off of
The Green Knight.
romantic chivalry or chivalric romance. Or something like that.
Poem.
By Anonymous.
Yeah, it's a poem.
Yeah, okay.
So, anyway, get into it. The Green Knight. First and foremost, let's talk about some really good shit about this film before we get into the weird, unknown shit about this film in terms of plot. Let's talk about cinematic, okay?
Good shots.
People who crafted this film, whether the cameraman, the director, I should have Googled it.
A24 involved.
Of course, A24, that's how you know it's going to be weird. It's art house if you've ever seen an art house film. A24, of course, only gets involved in weird shit. That's how they do it. Even something like Uncut Gems, a little weird. So, good film. Good film. Most A24 films are a good film, and I stand by the fact that I think this is a good film, maybe even a great film. But
I think it's a good film right now.
In terms of just these people know how to craft shots. Okay, these are masterfully crafted cinematic shots, transitions. In terms of just camera work and play with the camera and using the camera to play into the storytelling and the lighting and stuff is spectacular here.
And it's so good at showing how big the world that he's traversing is.
Yes,
because there's so many shots where
a lot of wide shots,
very wide. You see
shots.
him walking across, and you're like, you're paying attention to the background, not him.
A lot of up close silhouette shots. A lot of shots that play with lighting in terms of like lighting certain characters, lighting certain things to convey a certain like feeling or meaning.
Yeah, good use of color.
Yeah, so like, when he is grabbing onto the sword, he gets this glow, but when the Green Knight is around, there's this greenish hue. When he's in like this more like he's approaching, and I think the yellow in him approaching is probably something to do with like, you would call someone like yellow bellied if they're like a coward or whatever. So I think the yellow has to do with the fact that he's just fucking scared shitless, shit like that. You play with like a lot of colors and a lot of things like that into this film, to really like, just, I don't know, just do really good things with the camera. I think it's really well put together, and in 4K it was stunning, and I bet in the theater it probably was orangutan banging, as they would say. But sorry, I think Dev Patel does a great job here, even though when you think of like the film and like what was happening, it's hard to discern what that exactly was. Dev Patel still, I think, did a spectacular job. I love Dev Patel. He's great. If you haven't seen Lion, go ahead and go watch it. It's a good-ass film.
I wonder how many words he said in that movie.
Not a lot. There's not a lot of words, I think, in general said in that movie.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet.
A lot of walking. A lot of walking. But now let's talk about the plot of this film.
Go ahead.
Should I read the Wikipedia plot and see if it if it gives you...
Well, you're going to spoil the movie.
Well, that's what we're doing.
You full spoilers?
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's what we're doing.
Well, Jordan's saying no.
The Green Knight.
All right. Have you not been listening the past 5 minutes?
No, Jordan been lost in his phone. You don't even know what the fuck
He's
going
playing
on.
Clash of Clans.
He's playing Clash of Clans right now. Okay, The Green Knight on Wikipedia. The film. Let's read the plot. How long is this?
Oh.
That's about as long as the Disney movies. All right,
that's
let's get
long.
All right.
Oh, dude, that's...
I'm trying to run it quick.
That's so long, bro.
Huh?
That's so long.
No, it's not that long. Okay, we're going in. Gawain is seated alone in the great hall upon a throne in kingly regalia. A crown floats down from above as a narrator tells of his tale. As the crown alights, his head erupts in flames. I forgot about that. We see that at the beginning of the film. Gawain is awakened on Christmas morning in a brothel by his lover, the commoner Essel. He returns to Camelot, and after being scolded by his mother, attends a feast. I'm gonna skip a bunch of like words, like names and shit. Attends a feast at the round table with his uncle, who invites Gawain to his side. His uncle is King Arthur. In a tower, LaFay that's his mom, performs a magic ritual. The mysterious Green Knight barges into Arthur's court on a horseback and challenges the court. Any knight who is able to land a blow on him will win his green axe. However, the knight must travel to the Green Chapel the following Christmas and receive an equal blow in return. Gawain accepts, but instead of fighting, the dude kneels. He uses Excalibur, takes his head off. Boom. Makes sense. The guy picks up his head, yada, 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 throws it back on, rides off in the distance. Later. Okay? Over the next year, Gawain's story is retold as his reputation grows, yet he spends his days drinking and worrying about the upcoming confrontation with the knight. When Christmas time approaches, King reminds him, hey, uphold your end of the bargain. Horseback. He departs on horseback, takes the green axe, takes a green girdle made by his mother, who claims that no harm will come to him so long as he wears it. During the journey, he meets a boy scavenging the battlefield. The boy tells him to a stream. They take him to the Green Chapel. The boy, he gives him a coin. Oh, it turns out the boy was a thief. They rob him. They take all his shit. They lay him in the thing. They leave him tied up. You see him die actually there, but then it like rewinds time. It's like
that was confusing.
Yeah.
And he steals the
horse and the axe,
and the girdle.
The girdle, yeah. At night, he comes to an abandoned cottage. He gets free by cutting his arms with the sword. At night, he comes to an abandoned cottage and falls asleep in the bed. He is awakened by the ghost of a young woman named Winifred, who is the girl from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who asks Gawain to retrieve her head from a nearby spring. When he returns with her skull, he sees her skeleton in the bed, to which he adds the skull, which it actually turns into her head, and she says something about the Green Knight being somebody that he knows, and then he drops it. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, then the next morning, the axe, chilling right there. Weird, all right?
Mm-hmm.
He encounters a fox that befriends him. They witness female giants marching through a valley. He reaches a castle.
After tripping.
Yeah, after tripping on
some shrooms.
He reaches a castle inhabited by a lord who informs him that the Green Chapel is nearby. He accepts the invitation to stay. The other occupants include a blindfolded woman, the lord's lady, who resembles Essel and makes seductive overtures toward Gawain. Which it is played by the same lady who is Essel, but apparently it is a different character. The Lord proposes an exchange which he obtains while hunting with whatever Gawain finds at the house. The next morning, the lady presents Gawain with the green girdle, which she claims to have made herself. Gawain accedes to her advances in exchange for it and ejaculates onto the girdle. It was a little weird part. Mm-hmm. The lady rebukes him and says he is no knight, probably maybe because he busted too fast. I don't know. The old woman has witnessed this. Gawain escapes the castle but encounters the Lord in the forest, who reminds him of their game. The Lord kisses Gawain in return for his lady's actions, but Gawain does not give him the girdle. The Lord reveals that he has captured Gawain's fox, but releases it. I got fucking deja vu. Ooh, that was weird. I know what's gonna happen.
What do you mean? What's gonna happen next?
I know what's gonna happen later. No, I know what's gonna happen later. No, this girdle and him not giving him the girdle, dude. I have this incredible, I don't know, a foresight thing that just hit me, where me and you were looking up. Why did this hit me? It's so weird. Where me and you were looking up the film and talking about possible theories, and there was a weird thing about how he didn't give the guy the girdle, but he was supposed to, and that, I don't know, weird thing. All right, moving on. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that was complete tangent. Gawain reaches a stream where a boat is waiting. The fox says, "Hey, bruh," starts talking, tells him, "Hey, abandon the quest." He refuses, takes the boat to the chapel where the Green Knight is seated in hibernation.
He also questions whether he needs the girdle or not.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm just taking it. Doesn't matter." Right? He waits there a while. The Green Knight wakes up. To complete the challenge, the Knight swings the axe, but stops short twice as Gawain flinches. Before the third swing, Gawain flees and rushes back to Camelot. He is knighted and becomes king when his uncle and aunt die. Essel bears a son, but Gawain abandons her, taking the child and marrying a noblewoman instead. His son grows up and dies in battle. After many years, Gawain becomes a reveled knight. King. With his castle under siege and his family abandoning him, he pulls the green girdle from inside his abdomen. His head, as if decapitated, falls to the ground. Gawain wakes from this vision, still kneeling on the ground in the green chapel. Gawain removes the girdle and tells the knight he is ready. The knight praises Gawain for his bravery, drags his finger across Gawain's throat, and says, "Now off with your head." A post-credit scene shows a young girl finding the king's crown and putting it on her head. Boom. That's the film.
Still just as confused.
Yeah. I think the entire movie is obviously some sort of crazy metaphor.
But what does the axe being there at the house in the morning? Mm-hmm. Why?
I don't know.
There's a lot of things like that, small questions.
Yeah.
I think the overall presentation of the story was good. I think the story was interesting. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand why a lot of things happen. I don't understand why the homegirl at the castle had the thing. I don't understand why she did the painting of him upside down.
Yeah.
And it looked like constellations almost.
Yeah.
I just don't understand so many things.
It's very highbrow.
Yeah.
It's very highbrow. There's certain things too where it's didn't make some sense, but there's some things that I think might make a little sense. Like the quest overall, is it, is it being brave? Is it... Because at first I thought it was, when I was watching it and as we were getting on to when the king is starting to die, I was like, is the Green Knight a metaphor? Because he talks about how he's not ready. He talks about this quest, how he's not ready to do this, not ready to do that. He wants to look good in the eyes of the king. Maybe he's not ready for the crown. Is the whole quest a metaphor for coming to terms with the death of the king? I thought maybe that at one point. But then the whole foreshadowing into him becoming the king and being terrible, maybe not. But then kind of maybe still implies that, right?
Yeah.
Because then he kills himself, which is the death of a king. Yeah. And then the Green Knight is like, all right, you're really brave. And then, so is it coming to terms with the death of the king? Maybe, because the king is like his family.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you can tell the king's sick, so you can assume that Gawain knew he was going to have to take over the throne.
Yeah. And he talks about, I'm not ready to do this. He's kind of a drunk. He screws around at whorehouses.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it
also the noblewoman? Was that just the same woman who was?
Well, they're
Winifred?
played by the same actress,
Why do they?
but they're
do
technically
that?
different characters. Now, the actress did a couple interviews, and I read that a little bit, but I think it's because the actress was just talking about how interesting it was to play two different roles.
Yeah.
Which made me solidify it because I was trying to figure out, is it the same person, like metaphorically, or is it actually two different characters?
Yeah.
And they say it is two different characters. I think the reason they do that is because they're showing, especially which comes later in his vision, his disdain towards her for being a peasant and going for the noble woman. The fact that they are the same person visually, like that they are physically the same person, and he rejects one and accepts the other.
Yeah.
I think is some sort of play on something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he ends up getting seduced by the one noble woman and messing around with her. But with his one person who's like, I love you, take this thing, I like all this stuff, he's like completely, he's just like Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
You know, so. Sorry.
I don't know. Very weird. I feel like it's too easy to call a movie a good movie because it's just highbrow.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like.
I'll watch a couple vids.
I don't want to be like, it's
it.
good because it confused me, because that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, but confusion and intrigue can be misplaced with the same thing. And I think sometimes a film leaving you questioning things, and the fact that the film would have us discuss it and wonder after the fact could be a thing.
But I like it when there's a kind of an explanation, but there's a more deeper, like you can find deeper things in it.
You're just finding a hard time finding a through line,
like
for which
just
you
a
could,
single through line
thread
of
to
like
grab onto.
here's this explains mostly everything.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that like you can look into and get into other theories, but I can't find that single through line. That's like, this is clearly what they were trying to tell.
I don't think you're gonna get it when you watch a couple videos later.
I don't know. Maybe I'll find one and I'll be like, all right, that'll put me at peace.
Yeah.
That makes enough sense for me.
Regardless, it's a decent film. I think it's worth watching. If you don't want to go out to the movie theater, you can rent it on Vudu for $20. And I think it was well worth it to do that. That was enjoyable.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Anyway, that's it for this episode of Synced Up Filmcast. Time to get into
it?
Yeah. Is it not?
Do we not usually do something else?
No. Well, we usually watch trailers. We talk about what's coming soon, but I did that before. So
why do I feel like... What, bro?
Oh, reader mail.
There you go.
I guess there's reader
okay,
mail.
thank you. I was like,
sorry.
there's another segment.
Yep.
There we go. Lucas asks,
yeah,
are there older media franchises that you would like to see undergo a modern revival, i.e. all the new Star Trek stuff?
You got an answer?
Never Ending Story.
Oh, that shit would be lit. But for me, it's Narnia, bro.
Oh. Yeah. For me,
Come
it's
on,
anything.
bro. Talk to me, baby.
For me, it's like anything from the 80s. Back to the Future.
Nah.
But like I'm under the premise it's well
Sorry.
done. Under the premise it's well done.
Okay.
I like the new Karate
under the
Kid
premise
stuff.
it's well done, do fucking anything. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so what if you know it's gonna be good,
But you don't.
but no, if you know it's gonna be good and you can have one thing come back, what would it be?
Narnia.
Yeah. Okay. See, there's your answer.
So good.
Narnia is a good choice. I'm trying to think if there's any like other.
I might buy
choices
all
like
the
Narnia.
Narnia books on audiobook and listen to them shits. So good.
Is it worth it?
Yeah. I've been listening to audiobooks lately.
Do you like C.S. Lewis?
I don't know. I like
He has
those
some
books.
interesting.
I like those books. But
yeah, he's very.
yeah, I've been listening to 3 Body Problem. It's a trilogy out in China. Good ass books.
You're not done with that yet?
Nah, bro. There's 3 books and they're long as fuck.
How long is one audiobook?
The third book, 26 hours.
Jesus.
I listen at
Christ.
1.5 speed.
Big
So
brain.
so like 18 hours or something. It's an audiobook, bro. Someone's reading it to you.
Is there any others?
Sheesh.
Bro.
Anyway, this has been a longer
Make
episode
a
of the
good
Filmcast.
Magic Treehouse show.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That's all I got.
That's it for this episode of Synced Up Filmcast. We went a little long today, but that's because we had some conversation to be had.
How long did we go?
54 minutes.
Okay, that's not bad.
But we usually go, like 40,
Yeah.
35. Anyway, if you support us on Patreon at the $5 tier, you get access to the post show that we're about to do. And if you don't, we'll see you guys next week. Everybody else, we'll see you in a few minutes. Goodbye.
Goodbye.